Everyone knows Florida is a weird state, but did you know it was actually on the wrong continent? And when I say wrong, I mean it was literally attached to the wrong continent. During the last ice age, which ended about 11,500 years ago, sea levels were so low that the land connecting Florida to the rest of the United States was dry and walkable. But it didn't just connect to the other states, it also connected to what is now Cuba, creating a land bridge between North America and South America. So technically speaking, Florida was in South America. Hi, and welcome to my channel. Today we are exploring why Florida used to be a part of another continent. The idea that Florida was once a part of another continent might seem outlandish, but there's evidence that supports this theory. During the last ice age, most of the world's water was locked up in ice, which caused sea levels to drop dramatically. This exposed a land bridge known as the Bering Land Bridge, which connected Siberia and Alaska. This bridge allowed humans to migrate from Asia into North America. But it was unjust animals and humans that were able to take advantage of the Bering Land Bridge. Plants and even bacteria were able to make the journey. Scientists have found fossilized pollen from the Ice Age that indicates that plants migrated from Florida to Cuba via the land bridge. They also found bacteria that is only found in the Caribbean and not in the Gulf of Mexico, indicating that it likely came from Cuba to Florida via the same land bridge. Florida's connection to Cuba during the Ice Age can be seen in the fossils of the American mastodon. This prehistoric elephant-like creature is the state mammal of Florida, but its fossils have also been found in Cuba. This suggests that Florida and Cuba were once connected by land, because there is no way a mastodon could have swam from one landmass to another. It wasn't just large animals that migrated. Smaller creatures like snails also made the journey from Florida to Cuba, and vice versa. Some snail species found in Cuba today are only found there and nowhere else in the world. This suggests that they arrived in Cuba on that ancient land bridge from Florida. But how do we know that these migrations happened during the Ice Age and not before or after? Well, scientists have dated the fossils found in both countries, and they match up. The snails, the mastodons, and the fossilized pollen all date back to the last Ice Age, which lasted from about 115,000 to 11,700 years ago. This means that Florida was technically a part of South America for at least part of the last Ice Age. Of course, we don't call it Florida anymore. Instead, we call it the Peninsula of Florida, which makes it sound like it was always a peninsula. But the truth is that the sea level rise that followed the Ice Age created the Atlantic Ocean, which separated Florida from Cuba and made it a part of North America. But this didn't happen overnight. The melting ice caused sea levels to rise about 400 feet, which took hundreds of years to happen. So how high were the sea levels during the Ice Age? At the peak of the last Ice Age, glaciers covered about 32% of the Earth's surface and sea levels were about 400 feet lower than they are today. As the climate began to warm, the ice started to melt and the sea level began to rise. By the end of the Ice Age, the sea level had risen enough to submerge the land bridge that connected Florida and Cuba. As the glaciers continued to melt, the sea level rose even further. It is estimated that the sea level will continue to rise for hundreds more years. So if you read from Florida and you've ever felt like you disconnected from the rest of the country, just remember that you're actually closer to South America than you are to the other states. And it wasn't too long ago that Florida was actually a part of another continent. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel.